Hey there my peeps, I'm here with yet another prediction game video. This one is the Divas match. It's gonna be Eve defending her Divas Championship in a triple threat match against Kaitlyn and the former champion Layla, the same person she beat to win that championship in the first place. So this match, Eve is the heel here, Layla, Kaitlyn, both the faces. And this all really started when Eve became assistant GM for Booker T, or secretary, or whatever it is. And, you know, she started getting really friendly with, you know, Kaitlyn and AJ, pretending like, you know, she's their friend and she supports them and all that good stuff. She tagged up with them in a couple of matches, I believe. But she would always, like, you know, pull off some heel maneuvers. Things like, you know, stealing the pinfall victory, just tagging herself in just so she can get the pinfall. And, you know, it seemed like she wasn't really, you know, turning face. Seemed like just a heel trying to fool the faces into, you know, thinking that she's their friend. But really, both Layla and Kaitlyn weren't trusting Eve. And then eventually, we were supposed to have Layla versus Kaitlyn for the Divas Championship. At that time, Layla was still the champion, and Eve really wasn't in the title picture because of her, you know, because of her being the assistant GM for Booker T. Kaitlyn ended up getting attacked at Night of Champions. At that time, we didn't know who attacked Kaitlyn, sorry. And during the attack, Eve was, you know, having an interview with Matt Matthews or Matt Stryker. I don't know. One of them was interviewing Eve. And during that time, that's when Kaitlyn got attacked. So Eve couldn't really be, you know, the one to attack Kaitlyn, seeing as how she was doing something else during that attack. And then that same night, in the move, a lot of people, you know, were predicting that, hey, Eve was going to somehow put herself in the title picture in the title match at Night of Champions and win the Divas Championship, or Layla would retain the championship, one of those two. What ended up happening is Booker T put Eve in the Divas title match, stating that because she got a victory over Kaitlyn a couple weeks ago on Raw, you know, a couple weeks before Night of Champions, not a couple weeks from now, but yeah, a couple weeks before Night of Champions, she did pin Kaitlyn in a one-on-one match. So for that reason, Booker T put Eve against Layla for the Divas Championship to replace Kaitlyn. So we had Eve versus Layla. Eve ended up winning that match with her neckbreaker finisher. And then, you know, Kaitlyn, I guess, started investigating and trying to find out who attacked her at Night of Champions. They still weren't trusting Eve. And eventually they found out about this wig, this blonde wig they found, I think, at the scene of the attack, or close to the scene of the attack. And then recently they found out that Eve sent an email to Oksana to attack Kaitlyn. So Oksana was pretty much the one to wear that blonde wig to attack Kaitlyn, since Kaitlyn did state that the person to attack her had blonde hair. During that time, they accused Beth Phoenix for a short while, but now we know that Oksana was the one to attack Kaitlyn because Eve told her to do so. And on SmackDown, you know, this past SmackDown, we had a tag team match, Eve teaming up with Oksana to face off against Layla and Kaitlyn, and actually Eve and Oksana won the matchup when Layla accidentally kicked Kaitlyn. So now there's a bit of, I guess, tension or whatever between Kaitlyn and Layla. So who do I think is going to win this match? Like I said in the official prediction game video, you know, pretty sure Eve's going to retain here. Now if Eve somehow doesn't end up winning this match, then I think Kaitlyn would win this match. I don't think Layla would retain the championship. I don't see a point in giving back the championship to Layla, you know, after giving it to Eve. So in my opinion, it's either Eve winning this match or Kaitlyn. My number one pick obviously would be Eve, but if she doesn't win, then I could see maybe Kaitlyn pulling off the upset here and getting the victory. Now, if Eve wins this match, which, you know, I think she will, I'm wondering what happens next. Who does Eve defend the title against next? Does the storyline still continue? By the way, I think they've done, you know, a decent job with this storyline. I find that you don't get storylines like this often when it comes to the Divas division, so good job on that. And like I said, I'm trying to, you know, figure out what happens next. Does this storyline still go on? Does Eve move on to maybe defend the championship one-on-one against Kaitlyn? Or maybe another match against Layla? Or does she move on and face somebody completely new? Maybe Alicia Fox? Maybe it's Amina? Maybe Natalya? Is Natalya even a face though? Or a heel? I'm not sure. Just like Alicia Fox, I'm not sure if she's a face or a heel now. Not too sure about that. And although Kelly and Beth Phoenix is now gone too, I believe, or she's gonna be leaving soon, it seems like they're trying to improve the Divas division, at least in terms of storylines. And it's not often you see a triple threat Divas Championship match on, you know, a pay-per-view, or Raw for that matter. So that should be interesting. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'm out. See ya.